Congratulations on signing up. We're about to start the webinar, but before, I want to pre-record this thing so that I can help you get the most out of what's about to happen. I'm about to cover a lot of ground in a very short space of time. This is going to be the most condensed education you've ever had in music. You're going to learn more in the next hour than you've probably ever learned on this subject. So, there's one rule. I need your full attention. Get rid of the phone, put the kids in the next room, and just give me an hour. You need a pen, paper, and your full attention. What are we going to be covering? Well, I'm going to show you that all of music is made up of just 4 things. All of music. And that actually by focusing on those 4 things, and I will fully explain what each one is, I'll give you demonstrations of what each one is, and that by just focusing on learning these 4 things, we can cut out over 15 years of wasted time in practice. I'm going to be going through the common mistakes which all musicians make, which cost them 15 years of wasted practice time. And I'm going to be showing you a new technique of learning piano, which takes just 3 minutes per day. That is 150 times faster than anything else. So we've got a lot of ground to cover. We've got a short time to cover it. I want everybody on this winning. I want everybody to come out of this like, whoa! So give me your full attention and get ready for an amazing, amazing adventure. See you in there.
Нет, смотри, пойдем.
How can I stand here and say something so crazy? Well, the reason is because I do this every day with thousands of people around the world, people that might be just like you. Have you ever wanted to learn music, but maybe you tried and failed? Maybe you just never got around to it because you thought, it's complicated, it takes so much time, I'm not talented. I'm here to tell you that there is a new way. It's called step practicing. With this method, you can learn music with minutes of practice per day, not hours. If you've ever wanted to be a musician, I want to invite you to a free class. In that class, I will show you just how simple music can be. I'll show you that all of music is made up of just 4 things. I'll tell you what those 4 things are and how you can use them with step practicing to unlock your creative potential. If you've ever wanted to be an artist, this is your chance. I'll see you in there.
Нет, он тебе как-то
Hi everyone, I'm Jason, I play the piano. In this tutorial I'm going to teach you how to improvise like what I just did. I'm not so interested in teaching you how to play note for note, but rather to teach you the system so you can understand the system, so you can then find your own voice by playing your own notes, your own patterns, and creating a style that is uniquely yours. Before we get into it all, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel to stay in touch with more of these free piano lessons and tutorials. Okay guys, let's start with the left hand. The left hand was doing this. And it does that constantly throughout the whole improvisation. Okay, let's have a look at what's going on here. In this improvisation, you're going to need three chords. The first chord is the F, so F, C, F, and you're going to move your hand up to play G, A, C. Okay, so have a look at this one more time. This pattern is very important because you're going to use this for the other chords as well. And then you're using this exact same pattern to do it on the G. It's very rich, the sound, very beautiful sound. And then after that, you're going to move then to the A minor. Same pattern, just starting on a different note. So if you start again, it's F, then G, then A minor. And this happens 2 times. So just really make sure you master this left-hand part, because all the right-hand stuff that we're going to do are going to be playing on top of this left-hand chord progression. Let's get into some of the techniques you can use to start to improvise and find your own voice. The beautiful thing about this improvisation is that it all exists in the white keys area, so you don't need to worry about any of the black notes. This means for any of the upcoming techniques you're going to learn in this video, you can play with any white notes using these techniques, and it will sound good. Of course, you need to experiment and see what sounds better than others, but as long as you use any of the white notes, you're generally on the right track. To start very simply, technique 1 is to use single long notes. Just like that. Okay? So, 1 note per chord. Sounds good.
Hey!
Beautiful. Next up, technique 2 is a simple melody line. Now, how is the simple melody line different to the single long notes? So instead of just 1 long note per chord, a simple melody line is a mixture of long notes and short notes. So let's say something like this. That's right. Remember, always white notes. Hope you're having fun with these techniques. Moving on to technique number 3. Technique number 3 are scales.
Как с помощью гипноза раз и навсегда избавиться от своих страхов, блоков, ограничивающих убеждений, негативных программ, которые мешают нам быть успешными, строить глубокие и искренние отношения, зарабатывать достойные деньги. Приходите на мой открытый онлайн-вебинар, где я расскажу, как...
Наоборот. Вот это есть смысл.
So as you could see there, my left hand was playing some chords underneath, and my right hand was improvising with some scales. I was doing ascending scales, descending scales, and even a mixture of those two. You should also try to experiment starting on different notes and see what the effect is. That means even though this is all a white key improvisation, you don't have to necessarily start on C and end on C. You can do something like starting on G. Let's say if I start on B. Try and have some fun with this. Don't start on C and see what it sounds like. Moving on to technique 4. Technique 4 are thirds. So something like this.
이거 있는데
Techniques 1 to 3 are single melody lines, but in this technique 4, it's a double melody line. That's why it sounds really rich and awesome. Technique number 5 is very similar to the thirds. Technique 5 are sixths. So instead of playing, let's say, C and E like this as a third, you're going to play the C on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and you're going to move around using this pattern. So something like this. Awesome. Now that you have learned these 5 techniques, I recommend you to practice them and to master them. Once you master them, the fun really starts to happen when you can just play these left-hand chords underneath and with your right hand you can do all these different kinds of patterns interchangeably. So, go and have fun with this improvisation. Remember to stick to the white keys. If you play the black keys, you'll realize that it doesn't work because the black keys exist in different key signatures. As you go with this exercise, let me know in the comments below. Have fun with it, practice hard, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Граната это был точно.
Video will stay in the marketing repertoire of Yeti for a minute.
Feature. И чё? И чё?
Fans will come up to me after the show, and I can tell how much benefit having music in their life would give them. ability to sit down and just take yourself in therapy. To, you know, you come home angry, then just... Just feels... Just feels good. Nothing feels quite like that, other than maybe burning the house down, but then where are you going to live? So, I made the school because I want to make artists, and that's just it. It's just that simple. I feel like if I was a doctor and I saw people bleeding, I'd want to help them. I feel, you know, it's the skill I've got, and I know it can help people, so that's why I made the school. What is an artist? And that's how we're going to start today's seminar. Today's seminar, by the way, it's the first time I've done this seminar. We're here live, so that's going to be a bit of a throw me in the deep end. But today's seminar is about, I want to really let you go away with a few things. First, you really understanding what music is and what it isn't. I want you to understand that it can be simple and that it can be achieved by anybody. I want you to understand the mistakes that are currently being made, which is preventing most people from accessing this beautiful world of music, and how you're going to overcome those. And I'll tell you about a technology which I've made which can make life much, much simpler and allow you to play 150 times faster than the way the rest of the planet has to learn. So, without further ado, I'm here to make artists, and if you're here, it's because you're interested in becoming an artist, I hope. And even if that's just a shy kind of, that's okay. It's okay. A shy maybe is okay. Because the truth is, why would you be confident in today's world about becoming an artist? If you've ever tried with traditional education or watching these lights go down on YouTube screens, I get why you would potentially have low confidence in your ability to become an artist. And an artist is such a big word, right? But what is an artist? An artist, I define very simply as one who can express their individuality in full through their art, in this case music. I'm not here to make people who sound like me. We don't need a million Stevens. One is already too much. We don't need another Beyonce. We don't need another Bob Dylan. We don't need another Nina Simone. They already exist. Their work will live on forever. And the truth is, it costs me the same amount of time and attention and money to listen to Beyonce as the person who's almost as good as Beyonce. And, you know, Beyonce is good because Beyonce is being Beyonce. But you're you, and you have this incredible individuality. And when you find a way of being able to give voice to that originality through the language of music, you will be a powerful artist. Take any artist, what are they doing? They're telling their story from their perspective. Or sometimes they're telling somebody else's story, but from their perspective. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to unleash you as an artist, not just make some clone. We're not here to play like Steven and sing like Beyonce. That's not the goal. The goal is to play like you, to sing like you, to find out what your soul sounds like, and to meet yourself. That is what this is all about. That's why music's special. And it's fun. It's really fun. And one of the biggest problems I see in music education, and just so you know where I come from, by the way, I started playing when I was a kid, and I taught myself in a tiny little village. I was extremely confused. I didn't know what I was doing. But I fumbled and I stumbled, and after 10 years, I developed the most deep personal relationship with music possible. I'm just in love. I paint universes. I sit down and... And I wasn't thinking. It's not an intellectual exercise to me. It's extremely emotional. It's spiritual. Close my eyes and I go somewhere. And I was so passionate about music that when I went to school, all the teachers got real excited because I could play, and I was pretty young. Then they said, God, you're a genius. You've got to go to the Royal School of Music. And I went and I had formal training, and then I fell out of love with music. It became very intellectual, extremely complicated. Everything I did was invalidated. Sit like this, move your hands like this, you have to do this, you have to... And by the end of it, nobody becomes an artist like that. And you'll notice those schools don't really produce artists. They produce tens of thousands of people that sound the same with $250,000 in debt who've fallen out of love with music completely. One of the more common students I have in my academy is people who've been through that process. And they remember this time when they used to love music, when it was simple and beautiful, and then it kind of got lost. So I want to change that. And what we're going to do today is we're going to go through a few different things. I guess the first thing that I'd like to do is, what's wrong? And if you've tried to learn before, or if you've ever had any experience of trying to sit down at this instrument or any instrument and try to figure out what is going wrong, what is this mistake that can be fixed? Well, there's a few things. There's a few things that's going wrong. This instrument was invented in the late 1700s, and the technology of this instrument hasn't changed at all. We get a new iPhone every year. Like, cars now drive themselves, but this hasn't changed for 300 years. It's still taught in Latin, a language nobody speaks. It still uses complex symbology. It uses complex Italian, which one country on the planet speaks. And the way that it's taught is kind of back to front, because what happens when you go for a piano lesson? Well, the first thing you do is you sit down and they go, right, so today we're gonna play this. And you go, what? What even is this? What? I'm gonna play this? Why is it called the piano? Why is some notes white, some notes black? What does this pedal do? How am I supposed to sit? How am I supposed to do 4 things at once? Can you explain to me how I move my fingers like this? Because in life we just tend to make grasping motions. And now all of a sudden we're going to assume that you've got independent finger control. And then I'm going to tell you what to do by making you stand next to me while I do it perfectly. And then you watch and somehow you figure it out. But it's okay if you don't understand how to do it, because I'm going to give you this book full of symbols that you can't read, and that's going to help you read it. So when you get home, don't worry about it. Oh, that'll be £50, please, and come back next week. Yeah. So what's wrong with current piano education? Something like that. What's your alternative? Your alternative is you go on YouTube and you find a video where essentially you're kind of doing the same thing, and the lights go down the screen, and then you kind of play it when the light comes. Dude, I'm a great pianist and I can't do those videos. They're so confusing. And at the end of it, they're not making artists. At best, you will become a parrot who can play one song with no understanding. It's like learning to speak a language by just copying the sounds I'm making and not understanding what I'm saying at all, and not understanding how to build a language, so all you can do is say one sentence or play one song. And that's the most heartbreaking thing. I have this so often where someone will sit down and they'll play a song on piano. The first clue is that I can see that they're thinking about it. So they're not really connecting with the instrument. They're sitting there. They're remembering. They're remembering because they learned like a parrot. Or they learned the traditional way, and they're so confused that now it's this big intellectual exercise, and they've lost what music's all about, which is the escape. It is that journey into the deepest parts of yourself, those things that you feel at the end of the night. See, language is really limited. Language gives us this. That all my life I've been feeling this. I feel things that can't be expressed in English. I was talking about this the other day. I was in the back of a car with a Russian lady, and she was saying, you know, it's very frustrating because people think I'm stupid because I can't express what I want to express in English. I could tell you in Russian, but I just don't know the words in English. I said, actually, I know exactly how you feel, because I can express things in music, and there is no language to express these things. Where is the language for this? Or this? hope. What is that? What is that thing? Because I'm not here when I'm doing that. I'm in a universe. I made that song. It's a universe that I created, which is an insane, beautiful thing. So what are we going to do about this? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain what music really is, and I'm going to explain how to reapproach learning music in a way which will cut out so much nonsense. Because the truth is this: 99% of what is taught in traditional music education is completely unnecessary for being able to play the piano, for being able to write songs, for being able to express your individuality, which is what an artist is. Mick Jagger didn't need to go to the Royal School of Berkeley. Nina Simone didn't need to go to the Royal School of Music. They played, and when they played, their soul had a voice, and it connected with everybody else's soul, and we were lifted. And they will live forever in that art. That's music. Jimi Hendrix playing the guitar the wrong way round. Bob Dylan can't even sing in tune. See, the reality is you don't need to be as good as these schools and teachers and universities make you think that you have to be in order to play brilliantly and be a world-changing artist. And I've been doing